Hey Greenville, how's it going? You are listening to what would be Sunday Brunch Jazz. Is actually now on Monday at 10 for today only. We have a special guest in the building. This is Mr. Carrol Dashiell, the director of the ECU Jazz Band. How are you doing today, Mr. Dashiell?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the support.
Yes, sir. So today marks April the 3rd, and for those of you who are unaware, April is Jazz Appreciation Month. So today we have Mr. Dashiell coming in to talk to us about some upcoming events that he is hosting and that he's helping out with the community here in Greenville. And so there's going to be live music all month long. And so we're going to talk today about what you can do to be a participant in the Jazz Appreciation Month Festival. So, Mr. Dashiell, can you tell us a little bit about the Dr. Billy Taylor Festival?
Sure. Well, we have the ECU Dr. Billy Taylor Jazz Festival, and this year, the 2017 Billy Taylor Jazz Festival. This festival started out as the East Carolina University Jazz Ensemble's spring concert, and then in 2002, we got permission from Dr. Taylor, and he gave us permission to use his name, and we named the festival in his honor. And of course, Dr. Taylor being born and raised here in Greenville, and actually Aden Grifton, to be more specific. And so we renamed it in 2002, and we try to have international and national artists come in to interchange musical ideas with our students and our community. And it's been a lot of fun so far.
What is your favorite part about the Jazz Festival?
I think really for me, seeing the awakening, the awareness grow within our community, our students, our faculty, and our friends. And then just that interchange of musical concepts, the fellowship between the musicians and the artists.
Cool. So can you tell us a little bit about the guest artists that are coming in this month?
Yes, absolutely. The first artist that we have coming in is Mr. Delfeo Marsalis, and he is one of the younger brothers of Wynton Marsalis and Branford Marsalis. And we just actually had Branford here with Kurt Ellington as part of the Performing Arts series. And so we're going to have a little theme of trombone this year, and Delfeo is coming in. And we also have one of the alums of the ECU Jazz Studies program and former graduate teaching assistant of mine, Dr. Mitch Butler, who has just recently returned from several years as the director of jazz studies at California State University. And so we're excited about having him come home. And we also have Mr. Paul Carr, who is the director of jazz studies at Gettysburg College. And he's also the director of the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival. He's a saxophonist. And we're really excited about having these gentlemen in with us.
That's awesome. So there you have it, folks. We have a lot of stuff coming up for the ECU Dr. Billy Taylor Festival. Right now, we're going to cut into a little listening break. So we're going to do this thing where we're going to listen to some tunes that are selected by Mr. Carrol Dashiell throughout the hour, and we're going to intertwine that, and then we're going to do some more interviewing. So right now, we're going to listen to some of his album, Heir to the Throne. This is his son, Cameron Dashiell, on a drum solo.
Mr.
CV. And so check it out. And we'll be right back talking more jazz and just music in general. So stay tuned into WZMB 91.3. Hey, Greenville, if you are just tuning in, this is WZMB, and right now we have Mr. Carrol Dashiell in the building, the director of the ECU Jazz Band, and today we are talking about Jazz Appreciation Month. So the theme of this month is democracy, and democracy in jazz. So, Mr. Dashiell, can you tell us a little bit about what that means to you?
Well, I think democracy means that it is diverse, first of all, and everyone has a say-so into what is being presented and what is being performed. And I think that is a good motto to have because everybody's different. Everybody likes different things. Most people like macaroni and cheese, but people like macaroni and cheese presented differently. And I think so when we can have an agreement that we all do like macaroni and cheese, but it still can be presented differently. So there we have jazz, jazz macaroni. I guess that's macaroni and cheese.
Jazz macaroni.
But it's good. Everybody having an input.
Cool. Now for me, I like a little bacon in my macaroni.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
That's my democracy.
Yeah, that's good. I like bacon in mine too. So, sometimes, but not all the time. And I think that's the cool thing because there are going to be times when we like the bacon in it. Sometimes we want it just plain. So that I think is very, very important.
Cool. So talking about the Dr. Billy Taylor Jazz Festival, and you were fortunate enough to work with him personally.
Yes, I was very blessed to have the opportunity to work with him. He was one of my mentors, and even though he's no longer with us, he's deceased now. I won't say was. He is still one of my mentors, and I actually grew up next door to his mother in Washington D.C. And Dr. Taylor would come into D.C. to visit his mom, or when he was in performing. And we lived in row houses on Fairmont Street. And he knew that I was interested in music, and he would come in and he would get my mom and dad, our family, tickets to some of his performances, and we would go. So he really was a nurturer, and I learned an incredible amount from him, and I'm forever indebted to him.
Cool. Can you tell us about some of the things that he taught you? What are some of the most memorable moments in music that you have taken away from working with him?
Well, I think a couple of things. One of the things I always tell the story about how we lived in row houses on the street, and so all of the houses were connected. And I remember one particular time when I didn't know who Billy Taylor was. I was just a young tyke, just growing up, and I had the typical garage band. The only difference in D.C., we had them in the basement of the houses, and so we had a garage band. It was called the Vibrations Band and Show.
Okay.
And but Dr. Taylor was in visiting his mom once, and he was playing the piano, and the piano in his mother's house was next to the wall. Going up the stairs, going up to our upstairs, to our bedrooms, and I remember hearing the music coming from the wall, and I remember putting my ear to the wall, listening to him, and then I saw him on the porch, and he said, "Man, well, don't listen through the wall, just come on over." And I went over and sat down next to him, and I had no idea what he was playing, and I just knew that I really liked it, and I was digging this sound. So I said, okay, I want to do. I think I want to do this. And he was always encouraging. When we were playing Earth, Wind, and Fire in the basement, he would stop over and offer suggestions, and so that was very cool. And then I think the very first time that I played with him, he was late his flight was late coming in. And we were already on stage, and I think I might have been 17, 18 years old, and he came in, and I was already scared to death. And then he came in, and he said, "Hello, Carrol." He said, "I think I like Body and Soul in D flat." And we just started playing. That was it.
Nice.
And so that was a lesson in itself. But he was very cool, very, very inspiring.
Cool. Well, Body and Soul in D flat. So if any of you jazz majors are listening, that might be a little cue. But so anyway, we are going to listen to some Duke Ellington. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And we have Mr. Carrol Dashiell. He's going to stick around, and we're going to talk a little more after this, and we're going to listen to some of his album, Heir to the Throne, and the CVD Ensemble, his family band that he's famous for, kind of starting. And so anyway, stay tuned in to WZMB, and we're going to talk more about the Dr. Billy Taylor Jazz Festival and personal experiences with the music. So this is an interview you do not want to miss. Stay tuned. Hey, Greenville, how's it going? You are tuning into WZMB. Today, we have a very special guest in the building, Mr. Carrol Dashiell, director of the ECU Jazz Ensembles. And we have been here this whole hour just talking about music and his personal experiences with the man himself, Dr. Billy Taylor, who the jazz festival that's hosted in Greenville is named for in his honor. So, the festival itself is going to be a week-long thing. All the dates are on WZMB's homepage and more. There's going to be a lot of music this whole month going on. So one last question before you leave, Mr. Dashiell. I wanted to ask you, what are some of your highest memories, your fondest memories making music?
Well, I think for me, the biggest joy I get is my students, such as you, Chris, and having you guys realize a concept or something we've been working on, just seeing your eyes light up, and that it becomes a realization. And I've always felt that what little bit I know, I wanted to give back, and being able to give back to my students and share the musical experiences with the community and the fellowship of music, the fellowship of jazz. I think that's it. It's hard to pick out just one instance, but I think overall that would be it for me. I mean, I just love that fellowship, and that's the cool thing about it.
So that's what's kept you in Greenville this whole entire time, just teaching students?
My students here at East Carolina University, I would say that is the focal point, and Greenville has been a great area to raise our family. My wife Rhonda and I have 4 children, and we've raised them all here, and it's a family-oriented city and area, and we've just enjoyed it. Being at East Carolina University has been a blessing, and being able to meet wonderful students like you and so many of my other students, I'm just very blessed.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Dashiell. Thank you so much for being on my show. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you at 2:00 today
In rehearsal. Don't be late.
You can catch Mr. Dashiell's African American Music Trails on April 14th on a Friday at 7 p.m. First set, second set's at 8:30, and then the week after is the ECU Dr. Billy Taylor Jazz Festival. That's at Wright Auditorium at 8:00, and we'll be featuring Mr. Dalfeo Marsalis, Paul Carr from Washington, D.C., and also Dr. Mitch Butler, former ECU Jazz alum. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back this Sunday from 2 to 4. Our jazz band will be playing at Christie's Europub this Friday night at 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So that's something else going on. You guys have a great Monday, and make sure you guys treat one another with respect and be considerate of your actions towards one another. And that's my community issues for you. So thank you guys.